people, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I want to talk about the topic of pronunciation. A lot of you guys have asked me how to improve your pronunciation, and I thought I would make a video on it because I think it's something that a lot of language learners really focus on. A disclaimer, I don't think that pronunciation matters that much. The fact that you're taking the time and energy and the effort to really learn a language and interact with the culture is good enough. So I don't think that people should be looked down on based on the pronunciation. However, there are some things you can do to improve your pronunciation. So pronunciation is the way that you say words that is similar to the way that the majority of people who speak a language natively also say it, right? That means, for example, in German, Hochdeutsch and the pronunciation from German in Germany is different from the pronunciations from Germans in Austria, from Switzerland. And the same way, so for example, the French spoken in France is different from the French spoken in Canada. So just like before you get into a pronunciation and specifically like a dialect thing, you need to know where you're going for and what is your goal, like which dialect are you going to learn. Now that being said, you already can hear my English pronunciation. I believe I have like probably an American-ish kind of pronunciation because I usually consumed American media and not so much media from the UK. However, I will do a short reading in German and in French for you so that you can hear also my pronunciation in German and in French. I got this book today from the library. I'm gonna read the German from this. Der große Streit den kleinen Stern. Ein Thema bezogen auf die Sprache bewegt die deutsche Öffentlichkeit derzeit wie kein zweites, das Gendern. Damit ist ganz neutral das gemeint, was als gendergerechtes oder gendersensibles Deutsch bezeichnet wird. Häufig hört man aber auch Begriffe wie Genderei, Genderwahn oder Schlimmeres. Es handelt sich um eine sprachliche Kontrovers wie aus dem Lehrbuch. Ein sprachliches Anliegen erregt Widerstand, die Debatte wird schärfer, oft lässt man keine anderen Meinungen mehr zu. And for French, I just pulled up a website called fabulang.com, and I will just read on that. Langue extraterrestre. C'est certainement une langue extraterrestre, a confirmé Alison. Le général a hoché la tête en silence. Alison se trouvait dans une base militaire sécrétée. Il y avait des équipements informatiques partout. Deux soldats avec des armes étaient postés près de la porte. So these are my pronunciations. And I try to learn German, Hochdeutsch, that is spoken in Germany, and also French from France. Okay, now on to the tips that I have for learning German, French, English, whatever language you want, pronunciations. So I think the most important thing about learning the pronunciation of words is to really act the character of someone you think is from that culture and language. Basically, if you also understand, my personality when I speak German is a bit different from my personality when I speak French, from when I speak my mother language, and from when I speak English. So I think that it's good to notice. And on top, I think something that helped me a lot, and I don't know if it actually helps or if it's just me, but when I listen to something in the target language, so in French or in German or whatever, I lip sync poorly to the audio. So for example, say they're saying something and I'm like, and I act like I'm the person speaking. And it sounds a bit crazy, but I don't know, it really helps. Maybe that's like, because when you lip sync, you really pay close attention because you want to be as close as possible. And also, these are not the audios that I've heard before. They're just the first time that I'm hearing the audio. But you pay attention to where the actual flow of the language is, because each word in a language have their own pitches and they all have their own like sounds and notes that they go through. So it's important to like keep that in mind. Another thing on the same direction is how to use your tongue and jaw and throat muscles. So there are a lot of things that are different between languages, and a lot of letters that are pronounced differently even though they're written the same. So for example, the English R, the German well, it has three forms, and the French R and the Persian re. These are all the same sound. They're the re sound, some people say, but they're not really. So, for example, when you say right in English, right, what you're doing with your tongue is that right. Like you're not going to the front. You're in your mouth, kind of, and your tongue sits like this. Like right. Whereas you're saying a Persian word like ras, ra, 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 ra. It's like here, it's ras, 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 and it's touching slightly. And so you already probably know about the rolled Spanish R. So that's like a different example of how to say the R. R in French, français, when it's really here in your throat. R, it's not here or it's not here. This is the English R. This is the Persian R. Persian R. This is the English R. This is the French R. French R. Here, it is here, the French R. And the German is close to French in the R. So for example, when you say restaurant, in French and German, they have kind of similar pronunciation. But sometimes the R tends to become like an A kind of sound in German. Like for example, er in ER, he in German. So in German it can change. But mostly, like, the important thing is to notice how these different cultures and different languages are pronouncing the different sounds. Specifically, usually the z sounds, like the z. Some people say z, some people say ts. German says ts, and like other sounds and vowels and also consonants, how they're pronounced. Usually that's the difference. So that was my tips for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.